Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of F123 Driver Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are having another back-to-back sprint weekend, fresh off of Qatar where things went completely wrong and we had a mechanical failure in the sprint and the Grand Prix, and it was the control electronics in both failures. So we are replacing that here coming into today's episode. Hamilton continues to extend his championship lead coming into this weekend. As well, coming into this weekend, we had a phone call with Christian Horner.
Gary, how's it going?
Yo, Christian, what's up? I'm doing well.
I just wanted to touch bases and let you know that if Max decides not to return next year, we'd like to put you in the car. What do you think?
Yeah, let's stay in touch. Honestly, if you can give me a car that's going to finish these races, I'll take that at this point. You hear a brief part of our conversation. Mechanical issues have been a big part of our career mode over the last handful of episodes. It went from a very rare sight in our career mode to a staple part of this last section of this career mode. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's been going on, but it's certainly been a difficult part of our sophomore season here, our second season in Formula One. In practice, the car felt great. Actually felt like we have really good pace here for this weekend. We are taking a grid penalty though because of those control electronics failing so many times. We do have to take a grid penalty because of that. So that obviously won't affect us for the sprint race where we start there, but obviously where we finish the sprint race, we'll start 5 spots below that. Nonetheless, rolling into qualifying, I have a new modded helmet. Finally, look at it. Check it out. We have finally got it. I answered your wants in the comments, of course, for a modded helmet, and it's here. So Q1 should be a breeze to make it through into the top 15, and we come through the final couple of corners following Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's going to cross the line and go P2. We would cruise through into P3. Max Verstappen, again, he had a illegal blocking penalty recently in qualifying, and he gets hit with it again. Verstappen, illegal blocking is what he would get, so that's going to be a 5-place grid penalty. His rough season, of course, after being a 3-time champ, consecutive 3 championships, just gets worse. 4th in Q2, Magnussen, Ocon, Leclerc, Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu out in Q2. So we jump through into Q3. Leclerc's really been struggling recently here in some qualifying efforts. I go a little bit wide in turn 1 on my Q3 effort. We are only going to have enough time for 1 lap through the S's. We were already 6.5 tenths of a second off because of that bad turn 1. So already things are not looking very good here now for us now as we were coming through the end of sector, or start of sector 3, I should say. Now down into the final couple of corners. What is it going to be around the final turn here from Circuit of the Americas? DRS open to the line. It's only P10. I don't know where the speed went, but even in the sectors that I didn't screw up, I still lost time after we were like 3rd and 4th earlier in qualifying. Russell on pole over Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Hamilton, Sainz, Verstappen, Gasly, Perez, myself. We're going to jump straight through to the formation lap in the sprint.
Okay, Lewis, no pressure here today. Just keep doing what you do best and make up some ground.
Yeah, thanks Toto and team for the hard work this weekend.
The final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
All right, mate, let's put last week behind us. No mechanical issues from here on out.
I swear if you just jinx us, Marks, you are not going to be safe if I see you in the paddock after this Grand Prix. Ready to roll here from Circuit of the Americas for the sprint race, at least here. Now we're going to be starting right there behind the Alpine of Pierre Gasly. We got his teammate Esteban Ocon just behind us as well. So that grid penalty does not apply here. So wherever we finish today, we will lose those 5 positions going into the Grand Prix. But this is usually a weekend where we see grid penalties for everybody just about. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as we're ready to go racing. It's lights out. The sprint race here from Circuit of the Americas is underway. Now as we make the run up the hill towards turn 1, it's a terrible start for Lewis Hamilton as we dive up the inside there of the 7-time and potentially soon to be 8-time world champion, which of course would be record breaking if Hamilton can pull it off. I'm up the inside of Gasly, nearly some contact there with the Alpine as he did not appear to see that I was on his right side. He stays ahead now as we come through the S's section. Hamilton aggressive aggressive on this opening lap, fights back up the inside. Now we are wheel to wheel. We kind of give him the short end of the stick, and Perez gets through as well on Hamilton there as well. I'm trying to help my teammate of Alonso win the title. Contact between Perez and Hamilton, but that was the main reason I really fought right there to stay ahead of Lewis, to try and benefit my teammate of Fernando. As you can see, everybody just in a log jam right there. There's Charles Leclerc all the way down the order. The two AlphaTauris at the back of the grid. George Russell, Sergio Perez as well up here in the mix now, as you can see as well. The two McLarens up front though. Look at that. Norris, Piastri second and third over Alonso as well. There is Carlos Sainz, who's continuing to just kind of outpace as of late the teammate of his, of Charles Leclerc. We were able to get past Pierre Gasly there down into the heavy braking zone, and then on lap 2, closing in on the back of Max Verstappen. We will not have an opportunity to overtake right here, but we could set ourselves up really well. Verstappen, a rough exit right there on the corner, and then watch this opportunity right here. Don't mind if I do. Catch him off guard, send it up the inside, plant it on the apex, take the position. So thank you very much, Max Verstappen, because this pace in this car, really good right now. I'm feeling very, very good about our opportunities here to do well today, not only in this sprint here, as actually get a warning for exceeding track limits, but I think we can do great in the Grand Prix as well. Yellow flag already on lap 3. It's behind us. It's fellow Canadian Lance Stroll, and it's going to be day over for him in the AlphaTauri. Unfortunate ending for Lance now, but you know what? At the same time, it's nice for a change to see a driver have a mechanical failure in the last couple of episodes, and it's actually not me. A big run on the bank of Carlos Sainz with the DRS. He is a sitting duck at that point there. The Ferrari power just not enough at this point in the season, and thank you very much, Carlos. Up at a 5th place we go. Fernando Alonso next on our radar here now as we start lap 4 of 10, and I'm starting to get into a bit of a rhythm here as we head up the elevation towards this first corner. The engine's gone. The engine's gone. Lawrence, if this happens one more time, you're going to need 2 new drivers for next season. We make it pretty straightforward right there. They're going to need another new driver if this continues. We're out again in the second. This is like I swear, like the 4th consecutive sprint weekend. Every sprint weekend, we have had a mechanical failure. In Qatar, of course, the engine failed. Russell wins the sprint, and I just can't believe it. And then things get worse. In between the sprint and the Grand Prix, it's the control electronics that failed again, but I can't change it. I could not change the part, so we're going to have to start the Grand Prix with a broken part. I don't know how this is going to go.
Well, you don't need me to remind you that Formula One is now so beloved in the United States that we race here 3 times a year. But let's give respect to COTA, or the Circuit of the Americas, to give it its full name. This place laid the foundations for this moment and still remains the host of the US Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Perez, Magnussen, Sainz, Hamilton, Ocon, Zhou, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Verstappen, Sargent, Bottas, De Vries, Golden Boy, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Gary, we all heard the radio yesterday. Have you talked with Lawrence yet?
No, not a word. He's not here actually this weekend, so we're gonna probably have to talk things through here following today's Grand Prix throughout the week.
All right, good luck and good reliability today.
All right, we're ready to go racing again. It's the usual medium to hard tire strategy. Let's get ready to roll from the grid.
The formation lap gets underway, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out. Let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Usually, we have a radio message here, but I'm not even going to bother. I'm seeing an issue that I think we need to talk about. There is smoke pouring out of the back of our race car. We could not change a component that was broken on the car, which you guys saw, obviously. No matter what I did, I restarted the game and stuff, nothing. I could not change the part and put a new part on the engine. So I have no idea if this car is just going to fail immediately off the grid and it's going to be weekend over. Look at this. The smoke is pouring out of the back of the engine and it's going to be racing here momentarily. It's 5 red lights and here we go. Lights out. We're rolling. The red engine icon is on. We should not be racing right now, but we're racing anyways. I don't know what the season has become at this point. As down into turn 1, it's Russell over Perez, who's up in a second. The McLaren teammates side by side there as well. Here comes Carlos Sainz through into 3rd position. What a start we got now for Romeo Haas car up in towards the top 5 as well. What a start for the Spaniard though of Sainz to move through into that 2nd or 3rd position. Behind Sergio Perez. But myself, I'm settling through. I was right here tucked in behind the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, but Russell leads the way into the corner, of course, after winning the sprint race. He's one of the biggest threats to Hamilton right now. We thought it was Alonso, but it's now certainly proving to be that George Russell is a clear title threat to Lewis Hamilton, but it's going to be interesting to see if there's enough time. There's only a few races left. Mexico, Portugal, as well as Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Just 4 rounds remain now. As you can see, I'm going defensive on Leclerc down into the braking zone, but the smoke is pouring out of the back of the car. It makes no sense. I'm pretty sure it's a bug, which is why I could not change my engine component. That's the only reason I would think so, of course. Here we go for a textbook move up the inside of Bottas. We made the same move on Verstappen in the sprint up in a P15 here on this first and opening lap of this United States Grand Prix. Only the 2nd of 2 this season. Of course, Las Vegas not on the calendar this season, but likely will return on the calendar next season here now as we are closing in towards the end of lap 2, coming to 3, closing in on the back of our teammate of Alonso. There was a lot of grid penalties as you saw in this starting order, and Alonso is one of them, of course, as we got yellow flags in sector 1, and it's the leader. It's George Russell who's having a mechanical failure, so you know what, I guess we're not the only one facing the absolute stupidity of these mechanical failures at this point. Russell out of the Grand Prix. We're going to get a warning right there, not surprising for that track limit cut. So Russell out of the Grand Prix. Hamilton loves to see it at this point, and Alonso's got a lot of work to do, and now he's under pressure from his Canadian teammate here. Myself looking up the inside of Alonso as we head down towards the end of the long straightaway, heavy braking zone. We dive deep into the corner. We're going to give him the smoke screen. It's almost like throwing a banana at the car behind you in Mario Kart at this point now as we continue to focus in on Albon, but hold on. Alonso fights back down the front straightaway towards turn number 1. Alonso, of course, fighting for a title. We're not at this point, but he's not even close to the point, so I really wasn't against fighting him wheel to wheel through the S's now, as we're going to give up the spot right there, but we are going to have an opportunity soon enough to be able to go back and overtake Alonso. He goes a bit defensive right there. Could we go around the outside of Fernando this time now as we look? Not going to quite take it quite yet, but we might have a good opportunity. Look at the exit we get immediately back up the inside, showing the nose wheel to wheel and side by side. Clear, some oversteer. We save it. We cover him up, force him to back out, maybe racing my teammate a little bit too aggressive at that point, but we continue on in 13th and finally get to set our sights on Alex Albon here now as we come through down towards the same stretch of corners, and the door is open, but Albon goes a little bit defensive right there, saying absolutely not, you're not going to do that to me after you just did that to Fernando. But hold on a second, because we know our favorite overtaking location of the day up the inside of Albon, and we are on a roll in a car that should be out of the race and not racing. The smoke's been pouring out of the back since the start of the Grand Prix. What in the world? What is going on? We're out. The engine's done. I didn't even get a warning, and it just says terminal damage. We had a mechanical failure in Qatar Sprint and the Qatar Grand Prix, and the Circuit of the Americas Sprint, and now the Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix. One positive out of the whole weekend. Lando Norris picked up his first win in Formula 1, but I there's no way this is happening, and I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't even know what to say. It's unbelievable. And hopefully we might have to start looking elsewhere for Season 3. Did we go to Red Bull? Christian Horner says there might be an opportunity, maybe not at the same time. It's basically a 50-50 at best opportunity. It depends on how confident Verstappen is in that car. But now we have had, 4 mechanical failures in the last 7 weekends. That's 5 DNFs in the last 7 weekends because we also count the crash in Monza. And Hamilton pulls away from both Alonso and Russell on points here today, and he inches a little bit closer to being an 8-time world champion. But I just can't believe what's really developed over the last few episodes. And this Grand Prix, I think, is a completely different scenario from the sprint. I think that glitch of not being able to change engine component is what caused the car to fail there. But don't quote me on that. I can't believe it. I'll see you guys in the Mexico Grand Prix. Have a great day, everybody.